When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile. You saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Are you a driver trainee just finishing school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the kennel for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up.
You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile. You saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Are you a driver trainee just finishing school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. At Wiley Sanders Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the kennel for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wiley Sanders Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up.
You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
When you are handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile. You saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Are you a driver trainee just finishing school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wiley Sanders Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wiley Sanders Truck Line. And Wireless Sandals Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the killer for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wireless Sandals Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wireless Sandals Truck Line. Wireless Sandals Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Hey folks, are you tired of spending hard-earned money on a gas grill only to have it burn up in less than 2 years? Not to mention burning your food. Here at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, we carry the Holland Grill line. They've been around since 1988, and there are people right here in Troy that have had theirs for over 20 years. These grills are guaranteed not to flare up.
You can grill, steam, or smoke on your new Holland Grill today. Come see us at Southern Grill and Patio in Troy, Alabama, inside Town and Country Flooring Center.
When you were handed the key to a new Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick or GMC, rev up your imagination. Think of all the places you can go in some of the most stylish, best quality cars available on the market today. Feel confident driving vehicles with superb dependability and safety ratings. And smile, you saved a ton of money because you bought at Bill Jackson. Let the only thing holding you back be the end of the road. A Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC vehicle will not only change your life, it saves you money like nowhere else.
Are you a driver trainee just finishing school and want to drive an automatic truck? Then call Wireless Sandals Truck Line. Right, Fuzzy? We have automatic trucks. That's right. And we will reimburse you for your driver training. No pets? Not at Wireless Sandals Truck Line. At Wireless Sandals Truck Line, we thought of everything. We thought of the killer for your fuzzy friend. Right, Fuzzy? Tell them about it. Wireless Sandals Truck Line, Troy, Alabama. Come drive for the best today. Wireless Sandals Truck Line. Wireless Sandals Truck Line. Tell them, Fuzzy.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Good morning and welcome to Today in L.A. I'm Mike Amos, hoping that you're doing well today on a Wednesday. Thank goodness it's Wednesday because tomorrow is going to be Thursday and the day after that will be Friday. It is May the 15th, 2019. And, of course, Mike, the big event is fixing to take place over at Veterans Memorial Stadium as Troy Cable steps forward with their Spring Football Classic, a production of the staff and management of our studio over here. Of course, Steve Camp runs that program and does a super job. And, of course, it's called Spring Football Classic 2019. And it starts this afternoon with Columbia of Georgia playing Early County of Georgia, who's always good. What do you think?
Well, I mean, that's exciting for Troy. I mean, will all these games be on Facebook Live, or how's that going to work?
All the games, to my knowledge, will be on Facebook Live. I know Charles Henderson plays tonight at 6:30 against Callaway, Georgia, one of the top programs in Georgia, Mike. And that's going to be a big showdown there, and that's a 6 o'clock start. Then Goshen will head the list on Thursday. They play Geneva County of Hartford, and it should be a good game there. That's a 3 o'clock game. And then Slocum and Bullock County of Union Springs play at 6:30 on Thursday. Friday's action has Florella versus Isabella. Hope they bring some peaches with them. Of course, Wetumpka at 6:30, one of the top 6A programs in the state, versus Paul Bryant of Tuscaloosa. Then on Saturday, you got a triple hitter now, starting at 11:30. You've got one of the top 7A programs in the state, Hewitt-Trussville. Is that true? They 7A?
Yeah, they're 7A.
Versus Robert E. Lee High School of Montgomery, a much improved Robert E. Lee team at 11:30. Then you've got a game at 3 o'clock with Cordova versus W.S. Neal of Bruton. And then at 6:30, Mike, we've got Colquitt County of Georgia against Meridian, Mississippi. That should be a real outstanding football game.
Yeah, speaking of Bruton, T.R. Miller was looking to fill their coaching vacancy, and they went to one of your favorite places. They went to Maplesville and hired Coach Brett Hubbard.
Oh, boy.
Coach Hubbard has won 4 state championships at Maplesville, and, of course, you know, they're one of those title towns we talk about. So Coach Hubbard is, after 15 years, has decided to leave Maplesville.
Isn't that amazing?
To T.R. Miller, so that's a good hire by T.R. Miller. I met Coach Hubbard several times when I was in the sporting goods business. He used to come to Tuscaloosa a lot, and great guy and great coach. Of course, he used to talk to him a lot about the Dunlap kid, Terrence Dunlap, that plays for Troy in the secondary. And should be interesting to see how he does down there.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, that is one of those title towns, you know, that we talk about that is so good in pretty much every sport. And T.R. Miller Bruton, and let me tell you, they don't hire a guy unless they think he can take them to the top. And
of course, Coach Riggs was there for 30 years and one of the all-time winningest coaches in Alabama history. And
Jamie
he
Riggs,
not resigned, but retired in 2015, 2016, and decided after 2 years he wanted to get back into coaching. Now he's the head coach at Houston Academy.
I know it, and he's one of the great coaches out there, no question about it. But I don't know if anybody in the state of Alabama anywhere does what Troy Cable does for high school football. And again, these will be live broadcasts throughout on Facebook, throughout the country and throughout the world. You can be seen, and of course, they're live from beautiful Veterans Stadium in Troy. Also this week, Mike, is a huge, huge event when over 1,000 participants participate, come in here, Mike, with the state
Special Olympics.
Special Olympics. It's done so well. Troy people do it so well, and it's the state meet. All your motels are going to be filled up, and there are going to be a lot of kids here, and that all starts this weekend. And they claim that this football championship or this football classic will not interfere with what's going on with the Special Olympics, and that sounds good. And I'm sure they'll use a lot of other venues at Troy University. I'm sure they'll use Trojan Arena and
they'll use the track more than anything, probably.
Yeah, the track more than anything. You're exactly right.
Well, that's a great event for anybody in Troy to go out and support, and these kids give it their all in the Special Olympics, just like their regular Olympics.
Yeah, no question. Of course, we got a lot of high school baseball and softball. Brantley ends up losing in the championship round of Class 1A.
Yeah, Mars Hill swept them.
Boy, Mars Hills must be a good team. They were 32-6, and they beat Brantley twice. Yesterday was 13-2 to win the championship. But Brantley again, though, was there, Mike. Brantley was there. They always are. So what a great job Coach Kilcrease does over there with that program. Of course, we got a big game at
Providence Christian won yesterday, 4-0 as well.
Yes,
over Piedmont, so they'll play for the championship today.
Mike, who is coaching over at Providence? Boy, they've done a great job, I'll tell you.
Yeah, they're 29-8. They'll play today at 10 a.m. to try to win the state championship.
They'll be playing 35-9 Piedmont. I think that's who they play.
Yeah, winning that first game doesn't always win it all for you, though. I mean, Fly Little Arts proved that. Charles Henderson proved it a couple of years ago, and so Piedmont, I'm sure, will try to battle them today.
No question about it. And of course,
Christian, if I was going to Dauphin, I mean, is Providence Christian closer, like just past Ozark, or is it actually in Dauphin?
no, it's on the outside. You know, when you take the shortcut to, to try to bypass Dothan,
Yeah.
it's a car lot, and there's also a big filling station. It's down that road about 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and you take a left, and it's right down there.
Yeah, I mean, Providence Christian, I mean,
It's very close to where Troy University is, but it's
they've been to school for 10 years. How long have they been there?
Yeah, well, they've been there a while. Kenny Keith from Troy is the head football coach. I don't know if he's AD or not, but
you would think you would be.
yeah, and of course they've had good teams for a long time, and you win a state baseball championship. That's not an easy task, I promise you. Of course, that game today will be at 10 a.m. from I want to say from Riverwalk. Yeah, they'll be played at Riverwalk, so they could win it all this morning, or they could wait till at 3 this afternoon and finish it off. So good luck to Providence. Westbrook Christian versus GW Long. Westbrook Christian 23-12 versus GW Long 32-6, and they play that game today at 4 o'clock from Patterson Field. And then tomorrow, the Thursday game will be at Riverwalk, and that will also be a 10 o'clock start. So will GW Long win another one? Can you give me a rundown on how many state championships we've seen come out of GW Long, Mike? Can you help us with that?
I mean, we've done it before. I think it's like around 12 or 13.
Let's look at all of them. The Vestavias,
Let's see if I can find out.
Vestavia has won quite a few, but I think GW Long has won more than Vestavia has. Vestavia was coached by the late, great Sammy Dunn, whose son is the head baseball coach at Stanford in Birmingham. Troy...
Troy baseball last night, how they put up a great fight against Southern Miss and got beat 12-2.
They got whooped, and of course, their new, I don't know if their new AD would have had a smile on his face. I would think so. I'm sure he told us.
Jeremy McClain was dancing up in the press box.
Yeah, Jeremy, yeah, you're being facetious. He's dancing in the streets of old Hattiesburg. Yeah. And of course, Troy, though, was doing like everybody else, though. They were holding their pitching. The guy that pitched against them just was awesome. And he came out of Faith High School in Mobile, Mike. And he struck out 10 after 4 innings. I mean, he struck out almost everybody he faced, and I don't know how many total he struck out, but it was a bunch. I'm sure if he went the distance. Want to look at some other baseball. McGill Tulane.
GW Long's got
15 state championships. If there's a guy out there are people out there from GW Long. Call in and ask. I want to find out what y'all have for breakfast.
This is the most remarkable stat of it all. This is 15 since 1989.
Since 1989, GW Long.
1989 to 2018. So if they win another one this year, they'll be 16. Second on the list is Sweetwater.
Yep.
They've won 10 from 1979 to 2018. UMS Wright has won 9 from 1978 to 2016. And then Vestavia won 9 from 1991 to 2000.
Yeah. But that is really, really something.
Another interesting one is Hoax Bluff. I've been there before. That's out in the middle of nowhere. Won 9 from 1975 to 2008.
Yeah. This is Max calling in. If you will, put you on hold. I'm going to bring you in now, so we don't let me lose you. We're going to put you on hold. We're going to go to the phone. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Mike Amos.
Yes, sir. Who is this? Will Matthews?
Yes, it is.
Sweet Will Matthews calling in. Are you on your way in, or are you on your way somewhere else?
I'm between meet Dothan and Ozark headed to the office.
Okay, and of course that's the Matthews Law Firm located just off the square in downtown Ozark. Well, you can throw a rock and hit the courthouse, man. You're right there at it, aren't you?
Yep, been there since 1956.
Yeah. What's going on with you today? What's in the news? You've been watching, looking up at the PGA this week?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They're playing up there, and it's going to be cold and wet and windy, and should be an interesting tournament.
I don't know how anybody can predict anybody to win a golf tournament, but the naysayers, but the bettors out in Vegas say Tiger's going to win it. What do you think? Do you think he's going to go back to intimidating everybody, or what?
I think Brooks Koepka's going to win it.
He's a good one, isn't he?
Yeah, that guy can play, and he's strong, and this is a big golf course. It's a tough golf course.
Oh yeah, no question about it. It's called Farmingdale, but there's still. I thought all that weather went through. There's still a lot of bad weather coming in there.
Oh yeah, it's cold up there. It's the Beth Page Black course.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna put you on hold, and have both of you on. I'm gonna bring you and Mike on in there together.
Right.
Here we go. All right, we're going to go. Here we go. Conference. Well, I messed up. Let's see here.
You got me.
All right, okay, I got you. And Will, do I have you too?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Mike Amos and Will Matthews are on the phone this morning. Will.
The PGA will. Justin Thomas, the great player from Alabama, will not play.
Yeah, and this is no course to play if you're injured.
Why, it's just so long or what?
It's just brutal. I've played it. I'll tell you something funny. I played this course probably 20 years ago or 25 years ago, back when I could really play golf. And I played in a tournament there, and they played the black course one day, and they played one of the other courses, 3 courses there. And anyway, this guy from Oklahoma, we got through playing. He said, I was a judge then. He said, Judge, this is the only course I've ever played with 8 par 5s on it.
Oh, God, that is unreal. But that makes the scores going to be low then, won't they?
No,
Huh?
he was talking about par 4s that play like.
Oh, par 4s. I thought you said par 5s. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, he said these par 4s play long like par 5s.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Tough.
So this going to be a long hitter's dream. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Now, when I played it, you had several holes. You had to hit the ball 240 or 50 yards just to get to the fairway.
How far is this course from the legendary Cherry Hills? Have you ever played Cherry Hills?
Oh, that's in Colorado.
No, I thought that was in New Jersey.
No. Cherry Hills in.
That's how much I know. That's right.
Yeah, that's in Aurora, Colorado. I played that one too.
What would you?
Does Will Matthews still have his beard?
I do.
Well,
I'm gonna have it a while too.
yeah, exactly.
So did you just get back from Washington? Did you go to Washington again?
Yeah, I went last weekend. Had a good time.
Did you go see some of the sights, or did you just hang around the house?
Actually, I tell you, we went to Arlington Cemetery on Saturday.
Yeah.
And that was very interesting. I bet you didn't know this. There are 400,000 graves there.
God, that's a lot of graves. Well, are they putting them on top of each other, or what are they doing?
No, it's all spread out and nice, and they probably have 20 funerals a day there.
Did you go to John F. Kennedy's gravesite?
I did.
And you watched the Marine Corps drill team, or I reckon it's the Marine Corps.
It's the tomb of the unknown soldier, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, that's probably the more impressive thing, because rain, snow, sleet, or anything, they've been marching continuously for how many years now?
Oh, lots of years.
I mean, what I'm saying, they never.
Guys don't flinch.
What?
Don't flinch.
They never take anything off. I mean, it's never. I mean, it's continuous, isn't it?
And Mike, they're stationed there, and they live underneath the tomb.
Do they really?
Yes. They never leave their post.
Yeah. It's a real honor to be able to be a part of that guard, isn't it?
They go on and off every 2 hours. So,
Yeah.
you know, they have 2 hour shifts, but they never leave.
Well, I'll tell you something. They say if you ever go at night and it's just very few people and you hear you hear those footprints. I mean, hear the sound of those steps. They say that is a unreal experience. That you hear it. So distinctly. When there's a bunch of people, you don't hear it. But at night, they say it is really impressive.
Well, and now though, Mike, they will not let you go out there at night.
They won't. I was wondering. I didn't know, but I've talked to people though that have heard it at night, and they say it's just really an unusual sound.
Yeah, they close at 7.
Well, we need to congratulate Will. He's got another granddaughter on the way.
Yeah, they close, but they still got a guy walking though, don't they?
Oh yeah, they walk 24 hours. But what I'm saying, the people have to leave.
Yeah, I got you. Did you go to any museums or anything?
We went downtown and had dinner downtown, a real nice place. And but we didn't do the White House this time or anything like that.
There's a rule in Washington. You can the buildings can be only so high. You don't have any what you call tall buildings there. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Of course,
How does it work as far as your son, Will? I mean, with the campaign starting back up in 2020, I mean, does he go out and campaign, or is he just, still just serve at the position he's at now, or how's that work?
Yeah, he's forbidden to campaign.
Okay.
The Hatch Act prevents him from. Now he'd have to give up his job to go campaign, and he's not going to do that.
Dad, a Pi Kappa Phi from Troy University is the new FEMA director.
oh man, who is that?
I'll have to look it up. They're posting it on Facebook yesterday.
I'm gonna guess.
He's fairly young.
Well, there's a guy from Dothan, a fraternity brother of mine that's been an FBI agent out in California for years. Butch, his name was Butch Etheridge. Butch Etheridge, who's from Dothan, has been but I don't know who this would be. But it'd be good for your son to get to know him because y'all from the same part of the country.
Yeah.
And of course, Will Matthews is hails from, born and raised in Ozark, Alabama, lives in Dothan, and of course he's a very active Republican. When is the next big Republican meeting?
It's in late August. Our state executive committee meeting is in late August, and I'm thinking it's in Birmingham, but I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
Did you go to Panama City Beach and hear Trump's speech?
I couldn't because I was going to D.C. the next morning real early, so I could not go, but
I'm glad that he doesn't.
I heard it's a huge crowd.
Yeah. I tell you, I hope there's good security. I really worry about him. He's making so many people mad. Whoa, gosh, especially the Chinese. He's costing them billions and trillions of dollars, they say.
Yeah.
So, all we're doing is getting money back that we didn't get before. Isn't that right?
The Chinese they've been taking advantage of us for 20 years.
And, of course, what trade we have built their economic system pretty much, with trade with them,
Yeah.
The sad thing about all these adversaries over there, Iraq and Iran, and I could go with more. Your latest deal, what is that? Brazil or Argentina? What is that we're having trouble with right now?
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that these we've all helped these people out economically. You know, for years and years, the Iraqis and the Iran groups always sent their officers to Maxwell Field to train here in Montgomery. You know, we taught them how to fly, we taught them how to do more or less everything, and now they're adversaries of ours, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Will, what's the plan for the weekend? Of course, I know you watch a lot of golf, and they've got the first group going out. They've got your good friend Brian Gay going out at 5:45. Now that's crazy, Will.
Well, it's 6:45. Where you?
But it'll still be a lot of dew on the ground, won't it?
Oh yeah, but they got to do that. They got a huge field to get in.
Let me ask you this. About golf. You know, the long hitters. Do most of the long hitters hit the ball real high and not get a roll, or do they hit it fairly low and get a big roll? What do most of them do?
They carry the ball over 300 yards and
All right.
fly. Plus, they cut these fairways so close. If it's dry, the ball's gonna roll 30 or 40 yards anyway.
Yeah. So a 325 or 350 drive is not going to be uncommon. Is that right?
No, they don't. In certain conditions, they can hit the ball 350.
Yeah. You know, people, they look at Tiger, and he's getting on up there, and, of course, Phil Mickelson, they're getting on up there.
Mickelson's almost 49.
And J.B. Holmes. Everybody hears that old name, J.B. Holmes. Oh, gosh, who is this guy, J.B. Holmes? He hits it consistently longer than anybody on the tour, doesn't he?
He's a big hitter.
I mean, what makes him...
You know, the longest guy on the tour right now is Trey Mullinax from Gardendale that played at Alabama.
Yeah, and he hits it a long ways.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, Mike...
The new FEMA director is a guy named Jeffrey Bard.
What's the last name?
B-Y-A-R-D.
All right, Bard, yeah. That sounds...
He's a Troy University graduate.
Yeah, that's something. On the main campus or what?
Yeah.
Jeffrey Bard, I should know.
Troy University.
Does it say when he graduated?
He said he served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 1990 to 1994, so I would guess in the late 80s.
Yeah. And he is the head of the...
Of FEMA.
FEMA. Boy, I tell you what, you talk about a headache. That is the biggest headache of any place you could be over right there. Because that's the...
Where is he from originally?
Does it say?
I'm trying to find. I'm looking at it right now. He served in Alabama in all kinds of different positions. He used to be the Alabama Emergency Management Agency's executive officer as well.
Okay, I know who he is
He
now.
came up through Alabama.
Yeah, I know who he is now. I'm familiar with him.
There are two doctors in Dothan named Byard. I play golf with one of them.
Now, the former mayor of Prattville is named Bard.
Yep.
And this guy is Jeffrey Bard.
That's correct. So who's going to win the tournament, Will?
I'm gonna say Koepka.
Yeah.
That guy's playing great, and I think he's gonna be the guy.
Yeah. Mike, I've got a...
I've been picking this guy for weeks, but I still think it's going to be Roy McIlroy.
Well, you know, that's who everybody wants to pick, you know, so forth. And what's the advantage of going off early on Thursday compared to going off early on Friday?
Doesn't matter. You're going to have to do it one day or the other.
So how many strokes would you take off the game usually in the morning compared to afternoon?
I would think probably a couple of shots easier in the morning.
It's because the wind is not blowing quite as bad.
Right.
And also the greens being sort of wet, it makes them slower too, doesn't it?
Yeah, that course is so hard though. I'm gonna be interested to see how they set it up.
Yeah.
I know when they had the U.S. Open there, you know, a couple under par won it.
Yeah.
But I don't know about PGA. They set it up a little easier.
Will, I'm gonna put you on hold. I'm gonna come right back to you. I'll be right back to you. All right, is that you, Mike, right there, or is that Max?
That's me, man.
Max Howell is in the house. And hold on, let me go back. Max, I'm going to put you on hold a second. And, okay, now we got, Mike, we still have you as this Max.
Yeah, man.
All right, Will, I'll have to let you go here. I got Max Howell coming in, or do you need to talk to Max?
Just tell him I say hey.
All right, I will, and you take care and have a great day, man.
All right, see
Thank
ya.
you. Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi this morning. How you doing, Max?
Mike, doing great up here. Nice, beautiful day, sun shining. Going to be about 75 degrees. And hey, we skipped spring, Mike. We went straight from winter to summer.
I know it. I agree with you. I agree with you. No question about it. And Mike, are you still on? Mike is off right now. We'll get him back on in a few minutes. Max Howell, of course, very well known analyst, football analyst, sports analyst, and of course has been around talk radio, I reckon, about as long as anybody, Max. You didn't know when you were such a pretty guy coming out of college, a big old muscle-bound guy, he would look like Charles Atlas. You know, if you look like Charles Atlas, your daddy did your daddy work out too with you, or did you?
He was a bike. Let me tell you, Dad died when he was 85 years old. He weighed the same thing he did when he finished high school.
Isn't that amazing?
He was 5'10", 165 pounds.
And
he could eat anything. He had a high metabolic rate. He never gained weight. Never smoked. You know what he did though? He chewed cigars.
Yeah, okay. I got a friend of mine, KT Cole, that's bad about doing that.
That's exactly right. But that was the only thing. Never took a drink in his life that I was aware of.
And never lit a cigar.
Never lighted. Never would light it, but had a great life.
Yeah. I just ask.
You know, he knew a lot about the weightlifting business, but he never participated much.
Yeah.
He walked and he ran until he was 82 or 3 years old.
Well, gosh, how old was he when he died?
He was 85. And you know what he died from? Now listen to this. He died from, didn't know a whole lot about nutrition in those days now. Remember, he died in the late 90s.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving Day, 1999, in fact. But during when he was coming along, he didn't know. So he was a workaholic, Mike. I know I inherited that part of his personality. But he was a sales manager for a major corporation that built cotton gins.
Yeah, okay, that was.
With him shipping them all over the South. But he would work.
But you know what? So now I know the rest of the story. You're related to Eli Whitney. Eli Whitney. And he's the one that founded the cotton gin, isn't he?
Yeah, he wouldn't eat, Mike. He could do inventory from memory, all that kind of stuff, but he wouldn't eat. So obviously his blood sugar would get low. What would he do? He'd take 2 aspirins, drink Coca-Cola.
That's right.
You know what happened to him? He bled to death because they couldn't stop the bleeding.
That's because the blood was real thin. That's right, and that is that's the negative part of an aspirin.
Exactly.
But I had a
and that's what happened to him.
Had a person to tell me just yesterday that her husband had a stroke and was going on his way out. You know, I'm talking about out to see the good Lord. And she gave him 2 aspirin, and he popped right out of it, and they were able to get him the shot, and he was able to get away from all of that. But an aspirin is not a bad thing to carry with you. You know, what it does is it opens up those arteries a little bit, you know.
Yeah, no joke about it, Mike. And, you know, and the technology in medicine today has changed so much. It's changing every day.
Yeah.
And you know well about that.
Yeah.
So I think we obviously got a bright future ahead of us there. But he didn't live through that era. His body was just a hard no. Look, he played competitive basketball when he was 50 years old.
And didn't you tell me he played at the University of Alabama?
No, he did. He only went 2 years. A war broke out. He quit school and joined the Navy. But when he came out, he went to work in those plants, and he formed an industrial basketball league. I traveled with him until I was 10, 11 years old, all over the South.
That was in Prattville?
Yeah. He started in Prattville. Yeah, they traveled all over the Southeast playing basketball.
No question about it.
It was called the Industrial League. Guys in the plants would make up a team, and they'd go in and do it they'd raise money for charity all across the Southeast.
Yeah, I got you.
He could shoot. Now, a 3-point shot, that's what he did. He was a shoot from the outside. He was a little point guard.
Yeah, he probably shot a 2-handed set shot, didn't he?
Absolutely did. That's exactly
Like Bill Sharman used to shoot.
That's exactly what he did. So that's my history on his side of the family.
Max at Coach Chip Lindsey's golf tournament. Boy, I tell you, I continue to be impressed with him. He's a very good.
Everything right, Mike. Everything. The final step, he's got to win. And everybody knows that.
Now hear this, and I'm going to get Mike to come on back through. Now, this is what I was told yesterday, that West Virginia's spring game had 85,000 people in it.
That's all right. I got a text from them.
85,000 people.
It was the most people ever been on that campus in the history of the school.
Yeah. And of course, our guy put him there evidently, didn't he?
Ain't no doubt about it.
Neil Brown.
He's going to win. He's already proved it. He win.
So I tell you what, they haven't seen that kind of crowd, especially in the spring. But if those folks go out and buy season tickets, they won't have enough place to put them, do they? I wouldn't think their stadium's that big, is it?
Mike, no, it's not. The next step is expand the stadium. You know that's the procedure. You sell the tickets a couple of years, and then what you got to continue to sell. He's going to win, and the people want to come see him.
No question about it.
I mean,
he's off to a big start, isn't he?
He did. I'm Troy picked a great one in that respect, and I think they'd come right behind him.
Yeah.
Another one.
No question about it.
I think Chip's going to do. I think Chip's going to do extremely well. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him going this schedule this week and this coming up.
Oh boy, it's quite a schedule. You're right.
But the good thing is most of those tough ones are at home, and that's a good sign this year.
No question about it, and hopefully they'll play well at home again. A tough schedule, but again, 6 home games.
Right.
And they're against some good quality teams. It's going to be
They ought to sell it out every time, Mike. Every week ought to be a sellout.
I tell you, 2 big games early. One of them is against Southern Miss here in Troy on the 14th, which will be should sell out, I hope. Yep. And then another big game is when they travel to Missouri. And Max, I'm gonna put that down right now on my board, and I'm calling for an upset. Way ahead of town. I think Troy's going to go to Columbia and beat Missouri.
They got a chance.
So mark that down on your calendar.
I've already looked at their.
And we'll pick you up in Yazoo City and carry you on over there. Yazoo City. You know who?
I'd be interested. I'll tell you, Mike. Really, I've already looked at them closely. Of course, they got Kelly Bryant transfer from Clemson there. But their defense, they lost several kids on defense. Their defense is not going. They're going to have to outscore everybody. And Devine coming back, Troy's defense is going to be as good as it has been. So I think they got an excellent chance to shut Kelly down and win that ball game.
Did it surprise you that Troy's backup quarterback, ended up at Kentucky?
No, I did not know that.
And of course, he filled in very admirably for. The starting quarterback after he got hurt.
Did we talk about that back in spring? That there's no way 5 quarterbacks are going to stay on the field?
There's no question about it.
We talked about that,
Yeah. We knew something had to happen, didn't we?
Yeah, talked about maybe keeping 3, but you can't keep 5. I mean, the kids won't, they want to play today.
Yeah. They're
going to find a way to go. Of course, the transfer rules allow them to go and play. The Wilson kid at Kentucky is a senior. He's a junior college transfer.
Yeah.
Kentucky's going to be okay offensively. The defense is going to be lacking again. They aren't going to win 9 or 10 ball games. I think I'm listening at 6 or 7 this year.
We're talking about Sawyer Smith at Troy, their backup, who's a pretty good quarterback, and he's liable to push the guy a little bit. But now he'll have to sit, won't he, or will he?
That's where the rules is really cloudy. The kid from Georgia that transferred to Ohio State, they made him eligible immediately.
Yeah. All right. And of course.
Justin Fields. So now, I don't. It depends on why he transferred.
Yeah.
If it was just to change places to get a chance to play, yeah. But if they, whatever excuse they can find to use, NCAA is very, very lenient now in making those kids eligible.
Yeah. I'm sure Coach Neil Brown probably helped Kentucky in that way.
I'm Sure.
Because as long as he wasn't going to compete against them, that was a big deal.
He's from Kentucky. He's been on this staff.
We're talking about Sawyer Smith, the quarterback at Troy that took over from Barker, the starting quarterback. Boy, I've heard some real things about him recently. He's not only one of the top 3 speed guys on the team. We're talking about the quarterback at Troy, but I had heard one coach say that he has a bullet for an arm. I mean, that he brings it over the top, Max. He's not a 3-quarter guy. He comes completely over the top, and they can really throw it with almost anybody that's ever been there. That's a pretty good compliment, isn't it?
I came there twice this spring, Mike. You know that. I watched them both Saturdays, the spring game and the week before. And of course, they were protecting the quarterbacks and everybody shooting. Yeah. So I didn't get a chance to watch him run the football. But yeah, he can throw the football now. I'm telling you, they had him drilled. I stood right there on the field on the sideline and watched him throw the football. I don't think there's any doubt about it. The only thing at Troy right now, they need a big running back. They need to replace 230-pounder to run the league.
And they've got one, but right now they're trying to get a hardship. He said that the reason he came to Troy was to be closer to home because his grandmama or somebody was sick. And I'm sure they're still trying to work it out. But now he's 225 pounds. He's a transfer from Texas A&M. He's from South Florida, though. He's from South Florida.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of kid they need to run that offense. And that's what Chip's going to run. It's a read option, almost like Gus Malzahn ran. Yeah. Except, I think it'll be a lot more balanced.
People ask me, is Troy going to be any better? System-wise, I don't think there's a dime, any difference at all between the two programs. Do you?
No, it's not. It won't be. It's just that it's the way he handles the substitution and the personnel.
And the personnel, you mean whether or not it's a good running quarterback. If it's not a good running quarterback like Barker, you don't get to do all 3 things, do you?
Exactly, absolutely. See, and that just hold that thought a bit. Let me tell you what my thought is about Auburn. That's why I get down on Auburn, because that's their system, Mike, and they don't recruit to that system. They don't find, they took the Bo Nix kid. I understand that's a political thing. That was a great guy, and Gus is going to have a hard time not playing Bo Nix early because the pressure's going to be on him.
Well, before you go any further, I just want to tell you the headlines in the Montgomery paper this morning says, will Bo Nix be Auburn's starting quarterback when the Tigers face Oregon?
I didn't even get the Montgomery paper, no, I didn't use it.
I know it, but so what I'm saying is the pressure is already on. I sort of feel sorry for the other guy because, all I'm going to want is young phenom. And he's a phenom. Evidently he comes with a lot of credentials. But
they won 2 state championships with him, and I've seen him play. I saw one of the games he played in high school. Yeah. He's a great player. But I'm going to tell you, Mike, going from high school to the SEC, and they open up with Oregon in Atlanta. And they're going to be an underdog in that ballgame.
You're exactly right.
The top 4 or 5 team in the country.
You're exactly right.
And Auburn's going to have a tough. And I'm just questioning in my mind, would I throw him out there in that first game early? I don't know that I wouldn't start Gatewood, and then if Gatewood can't get it done, then put him in. But see, again, what is the Wilbur kid going to be the running back? At Auburn, he's the only guy that got up there that's 230, 40 pounds that can run the ball 25 times.
Yeah.
And that's Gus's offense. And then he's going to call the plays.
Yeah, no question about it. And again, though, if Auburn, and I'm saying this, I've said it a month ago, I said it 2 weeks ago, and I'll say it now. If Auburn's got to go with a pure freshman quarterback, that's telling me they're in trouble.
Yeah, and I agree with you.
I mean, there's no way in the world they should have to start a pure freshman.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you.
And I don't care if his granddaddy and his great-granddaddy were great star football players at Auburn or whatever. The guy is not ready. He can't be mature enough. The word mature, I've heard people say, wait for him to mature. Well, right now, he can't be completely mature.
He's not there. And again, he's going to be a great one.
I tell you what maturity is 9:30 at night, and there's 89,000 fans in the stadium, and you're tied up with LSU, and you're trying to score on the last play of the game. I mean, how does he react in that kind of situation?
Have you seen an increase in your insurance?
I'm really concentrating on watching that first one, see how he performs. And I don't think there's any doubt Gus is going to be forced to start him, in my opinion.
Max,
I think the political issues are going to come into play there.
Max Howell is our guest, and I was with Max this week earlier at the Chip Lindsey golf tournament, and when you're at that tournament, you start looking around for Larry Blakeney because Larry was such a good golfer, and
right. He always plays.
Well, and see what it is. He plays, but then later on he stopped playing, and what he'd do, he'd take a par 3, and he'd use his pitching wedge, and you could use your ball or his ball, and he was a good golfer, and we always usually gained a stroke on that hole because he'd get us close, And Chip Lindsey, they say, also a very good golfer, if that means anything. But I'll tell you a story, Max, real quick. A friend of ours was a candidate for the University of Alabama assistant coaching job back when Gene Stallings was coach. And during his conversation with Stallings, he told Stallings he loved to play golf. He loved to play golf. He just had an infatuation with golf. He just loved it. And so after the interview, he went into his coach's office, and all his coaches were sitting at a table, and they asked him, they said, well, how many guys want this guy? And they all raised their hand because he's a real popular guy and well-known and former player, whatever. But he said, well, I'll tell you this, I'm not going to hire him because I'm not going to hire anybody that loves golf. Hey, because it takes 4 hours away from him being a football coach every day.
That's I've said that 100 years. That basically, if you love and if you're good at it, that means you play a lot, and you know what it takes.
Exactly.
5 hours a day.
You're exactly right. Boy, old Sim looked pretty other day. I tell you, he of course he carries himself as like an All-American quarterback. He still has that air about him, doesn't he?
He sure does. Well, that's a personality, Mike.
Yeah.
That's just, that's his personality, and like Dion used to say, he said, if you can do it, it ain't bragging.
That's right. And that quarterback, Charles Sim Bird, 6 foot, I would say 6 foot, 190 pounds, 195 pounds, out of Montgomery, Alabama, Robert E. Lee High School, and boy, was he a great one. Y'all could not have gone and got anybody that could have done what Sim Bird did in 3 years. Wouldn't you agree?
Listen, and you know why we got it? Because they still moved him to the secondary.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? When I was playing at Troy, he was playing with a Pi Kappa Phi pledge class, playing a Delta Chi pledge class across the street. And we knew our quarterback he probably couldn't have played for that fraternity team, but their quarterback was Charles Sim Bird. But the first thing y'all did when y'all got there was go get him, didn't you?
No doubt. We already knew about him. See, and that was the thing Billy did. Billy did his homework, Mike, I'm telling you. I'd come in the morning, and we'd have a list of the first thing we'd meet every morning by 5:30, 6 o'clock. We'd sit there and go through the prospect list.
Yeah.
And he was on the phone with coaches in the SEC daily, finding out who was going to leave. Remember, too, one of the reasons we were able to get all those kids, and the Sim didn't fit this category, because the SEC did not take married kids in those days.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You remember?
Tommy Moffitt was he had grown kids when he got there, didn't he?
But remember, Dr. Adams allowed they built married apartments on campus.
Yeah, a lot of them lived down in those shacks. You remember that?
Exactly right. And we would give the wife a job on campus somewhere and the scholarship to play with the boy.
And they had the time of their life, didn't they? Going through that.
And Billy read it like a pro team.
But now let me ask you this, and I've always wanted to ask you this. I understand one half of it because you coached him. You coached Danny Grant at Carroll High of Ozark. Is that right?
Sure did.
And
Yes,
Joe
I did.
Kelly and all them. All right. Now, how did you sell Billy though on this 5'8", 5'9" with receiver? How did you when you first said this is a guy named Danny Grant?
I showed him a film. Remember who our quarterback was? It was Joe Kelly.
Yeah, that's right.
And Joe could have gone and played anywhere in America. He chose to go to Alabama because he wanted to get a degree from Alabama.
That's right.
Of course, the rest of the story, Joe ended up a multimillionaire, as president of American General Life Insurance Company.
That's right.
And he didn't play very much at Alabama. Alabama.
No, he didn't play. He didn't play hardly at any. He played behind Namath to begin with, and then he played behind Sloan, and then he played behind Stapler.
And all those were wishful.
And then Scott Hunter, you throw him in there,
Exactly right. And see, but Joe knew all that.
Yeah.
All I did is take a tape in there. Really, us throwing the football were killing the Danny Grant.
Yeah.
Of course, Mike. Here's the thing: everybody forgets is that it was so easy in those days because everybody played a 3-deep zone. Nobody played man coverage.
Yeah.
And the same thing when we got to Troy in that old
Isn't that amazing?
Alabama Collegiate Conference when Livingston and Jackson Rattler.
Yeah.
We'd throw a wheel route with two guys out there. They wouldn't know how to cover it. I mean, it was funny. We used to laugh when we'd line up.
And then you get man on man with Danny Grant, and of course, all you had to do was look at Danny Grant. A thing that a lot of people don't realize, he might not have been more than 5'9" or maybe 5'8", 8.5" or whatever.
Right.
But I bet his vertical leap was over 35 at least. Wouldn't you say that he could jump?
He had his feet that,
He had great legs. You remember that?
Yep. I mean, we used to, here's the thing, we all, inside the 20, we'd get line up there, they'd try to line up a little tight, and always going to throw to him. He'd make a move or two, we could see him throwing in, throwing out route. Then they'd catch it in the end zone, turn around, pitch it to the defensive back.
Yeah, and the thing about it, you almost had to hold him because he was just so quick and ran his route so precise, and I tell you what, that tandem of Doug Taylor at tight end, you had Bobby Enslin and Danny Grant and Vince Green.
Vince Green came along.
And to me, Vince Green was as good as all of them. But those four receivers.
He didn't quite have the foot speed that Enslin did.
Well, see, I thought he ran close to 9.998, something like that, didn't he?
No, that was Enslin. Enslin ran a 4.40.
Yeah, I knew it was
those
fast.
days, nobody broke 4.5. Danny was about a 4.5 guy.
Well, I know this about him, about Vince Green, was he's the first receiver ever to catch passes for over 1,000 yards, which was unreal.
Yeah.
That was in 1 year.
Remember, though, when he after Bobby and Danny were already gone.
Yeah, that's right, with the Al Head, yeah.
He was our number one receiver. When all those other guys were there, we could spread it around.
Yeah.
We threw a lot of stuff out of the backfield. We did a lot of stuff offensively that they're down doing today.
Yeah.
Mike, when Doug we flex, what we call flex, put Doug out about 3 yards, and then rather than leave him on the line of scrimmage to run the ball, we wouldn't have him take a step back, what they now call an H-back.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, who's going to cover him? They were running 3
That's right, yeah.
Nobody knew who to cover him. Maybe caught 6 or 7.
Did y'all send somebody in with the plays, or did y'all call them from the sideline?
I called every snap.
I mean, did you have somebody signaling in, or you had somebody running in?
We ran them in. I ran Hugh Cole in.
Yeah.
He was a third guard. We had Bobby Enslin and we had Al Dees and Bobby Floyd.
That's right.
And then Hugh was our number 3 guy.
And then later on, a boy named Larry Christian. Boy, if he hadn't tore his knee up, he'd been a great one, wouldn't he?
Larry was a great one. Well, he had great feet, and he could play.
Of course, back when you got back to Atlanta, you probably heard a lot from him in Atlanta.
What he ended up in, he worked for the biggest.
Especially if you wanted a bottle of wine, is that right? He became a multi-millionaire wine dealer in Atlanta before wine was a big thing. You know that? You remember that?
Yep.
But
he had great work ethic, and he was a good guy.
Yeah.
He was.
Then, of course, the other big tackle was the banker out of Ellick City that y'all got out of Auburn. what was that big guy's
He
name?
was president of the bank in Atlantic City.
Yeah, that's right.
Sporting Goods. He had a lot of big accounts.
Yeah.
I'm thinking right now.
but what I'm saying, they just started coming in droves.
Yeah, I mean, I say we searched the SEC and Memphis and Southern Miss and those schools, get guys to transfer and they were folks around Troy.
All right, let me ask this. I bet when you got there, there wasn't a single weight on campus, was it? I mean,
they had
Clemson.
Remember Nick Costes had the weight
Yeah.
for the PE department, Mike.
And it was over the basketball. Yeah, that's right.
And remember, who hired me? Earl Watson hired me to work. I came back to finish my master's in 1965, and I was at Bay High in Panama City. And Earl Watson hired me to help with Nick to put the weight program together to add to the physical education department.
Yeah.
And of course, then they hired, Billy was already being hired, Doc Adams working on that deal. And then, of course, that was why Earl Watson left, if you remember, being the co-athletic director, and we separated the departments.
I'm going to throw it out a name for you. Now, this guy was not a football player. He came out of Robert A. Lee High School. His name was Charles Couch.
I remember Charles Couch.
Yeah, he was a big weightlifter, and he's the reason he dropped the weights, so they did it upstairs. Can you believe they had the weight room upstairs? And they dropped the weights, and ladies and gentlemen, the whole section collapsed. But can you believe that? And of course these big weightlifters. This guy was a power builder, even back then. He was a Charles Atlas type guy. And he would just drop the weights on the wood floor, and shoot, those wood floors weren't made
those were the things that caused us to separate the departments.
Yeah.
We then moved our weightlifting under the stadium. At that point.
Oh, and boy, that was I tell you what, boy, that is a lot of stories have been told about that place.
Let me just tell you now. Pete Jenkins came in 69 after we won the championship, and he coached the defensive front. He and I worked out 4 days a week with the players from January to August. We did one-on-one drills. I'm telling you, and that's why I know we could have won a championship. Al Head had not gotten hurt in 69. We'd have repeated. We'd won the championship again that year.
I remember when he got hurt. You're right. He had, but really.
Of course, we went to Long Leg Rainey after that.
Yeah. I tell you, and of course, what if you'd had Jeff Cotton? I think had another year of eligibility before, but he got married and had to go to work. But hey, let me ask you this. Let me just say this. We talk about that great passing attack, but hey, you had a great running attack led by a guy named Jeff Cotton from Early County, Georgia, and Early County is going to be playing tonight in the. Our Jamboree, what we call it, the Troy Cable Spring Football Classic. We've got 18 teams coming in here, but one of them is from Early County, Georgia, where Jeff Cotton came from. And I know he went to Georgia, but he was a great running back, I thought. Didn't you think?
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. If you remember, Mike, we opened up with the same play every week.
It was Man Ed, wasn't it? It was so-and-so Man Ed.
That's right. We'd turn around and pitch it to Jeff on the sweep, usually around the right end.
And you'd have Big Buck Dees and Hugh Cole and Bobby Floyd and those guys lead them.
They'd be pulling and leading, that's right.
Sometimes y'all pull back then they didn't do this much, but y'all pulled the tackle and the guard, didn't you?
Absolutely right. And we'd do it from a 2-point stance.
Yeah.
We'd come to the line of scrimmage. We didn't even put the hand on the ground. We just pull them and ran.
Now, see, that was something else that a lot of people weren't doing that y'all did.
I see that. You're right.
Yeah.
They didn't know where to line up, Mike.
And something else about Sam Bird and how great he was. Of course, I know a stat that is as true as there was when they won the national championship in '68. He threw, counting the 2 playoff games, he threw for 4,011 yards, 4,008 yards precisely, and 41 touchdown passes. But back then you didn't go from you took the ball from center, and he dropped straight back. How many steps did he drop back usually?
Yeah, but see, let me tell you, I'll tell you another little side story there. We get up 25 or 30 points, and Billy was never one to run the score up. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah. No, he wasn't. But he did beat this team out of West Virginia 77-0 one day. But he don't like to run up the score. But he just got beat the week before, though. Is that right?
Well, we didn't get beat. We were on the way to the championship. That was a 68, buddy.
No, I thought, though, you had lost to Martin, Tennessee Martin.
That was in the third or fourth ball game. We had lost one that year, 7-3 or something like that. It was close in the late game up there, and Billy was trying to make a point. But I was going to tell you on the play calling, Billy called me down and he said, tell Sim to quit throwing the football. We're going to run it down. So I called time out and walked out there, and Sim, I knew where Sim was headed. I knew he was trying to set the records, and I wanted him to help him do that. Yeah. So I tell Sim, Mike, I said, all right, you call the run. I'm going to tell you to call the run, but when you get to the line of scrimmage, you check it. If you want to throw it, you check it off. And I'm gonna give you the blame for it, but I'm saving my job and tell Billy I called it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a true story.
You're right. But I tell you what, like you said, after Sim Bird, you still brought in an Al Head, and you brought in a good friend of mine over in Greenville, Lionel Ed Rainey. You remember Rainey? And then you got a kid out of Stanhope Elmore, Casada, Alabama, Hogan. You remember him? He could have been a great one, too.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
Harold Hogan. You remember that? Harold Hogan.
I remember that. And then, who was the kid we took to Chattanooga?
Oh, yeah, I remember it well. That's the story of all stories right there.
It is. And beat Scrappy Moore in his last
That's right. And he never, I don't know if he had taken a snap all year long.
He hadn't. He had not.
And
he sat with him on the bus all the way up there, and he grilled him and grilled him and grilled him, and we would have been winning that ball game.
I know this. He was from Columbus, I want to say, and I want to say he played at Jordan, so he knew a little bit about him when he signed him, and I'm trying to think of his name, but that, of course, he goes up, like you said, to Chattanooga, throws 3 touchdown passes, I think. But, you know, another thing, back then, it was the system, like the Florida, it was a system we had that, to my knowledge, nobody else was doing, was they?
Nobody, they couldn't. Look, Frank, opponents used to call timeout and call the officials over and tell them we were running illegal formations. I've seen that before.
Yeah, I know it.
They'd come out there and just start laughing and said, he'd tell the guy, the coach on the side, and said, you need to go look at the NFL and see if they run illegal. That's what we were doing. He brought the 49er playbook with him, and it was the West Coast offense as we know it today. And we would just, again, we had good guys and good players, but our system was superior to anybody.
We had 2 more running backs that had to, after Jeff could not play in that championship series, you brought, of course, J.A. Williams, the great one out of Kennedy, Alabama, and, of course, that was right there where Coach Atkins was raised. And then the other one was a guy named Cecil Barber from Early County, Georgia, and, buddy, he made some big plays in that championship game, didn't he?
He really did. See, everybody feared us throwing the football, so what they started backing off and giving us, they were rushing 3 or 4 at a time, and that's when we started running the ball.
Yeah.
We had a good balance in that thing. I'm just telling you.
Oh, it was great to watch.
Well conceived as any program. I mean, look, we were as good at that time as the program I ended up at Florida State when we had all of NFL players.
Well, I tell you what, one thing about that program is they could score. Y'all could score at will, and back then Johnny Unitas to Raymond Berry, that was the best combination maybe in the history of football, especially pro football. Unitas to Raymond Berry. But y'all put that in, and what they did, they ran the out. They go 7-8 yards and go toward the sideline, and the ball, once they made the turn, the ball would already be in the air. It was almost impossible to stop. And of course, Baltimore Unitas made it popular, but Bird to Grant and Bird to Insland and Bird to Vince Green, it was almost unstoppable.
It was. Let me tell you the rest of the story. After the championship game in '68, Billy took me and Philip to Auburn.
Those were the 2 assistant coaches.
Jordan had Pat Sullivan and Terry Beasley. And Billy took Coach
Heisman Trophy.
Every time I see Pat Sumlin today, I ask him, I said, now, you know, we kind of hip you along with all that offense y'all at that time. All I want is a little miniature statue of the Heisman Trophy to put on my jail.
We're going to put you on hold a second. We'll be right back with you. Good morning. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
I was just calling back.
Mike Amos is calling back in. Let's get you on the line with Matt.
Beautiful down there.
I'm going to put these on. That should do it. Let's see here. One more. Well, let's see here. Are you on now, Max? Which one I got on, Mike?
You got me.
All right, I'm going to pull Max on now. That should do it. Are y'all both on? Hello. Well, as usual, ladies and gentlemen, it happens again. All right, there we go. You on now? Who's on, please?
I'm here.
All right, you're here, and we're going to bring Mike in real quick here. It won't stop. Okay. Still have you, Max? Here we go. You're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, this is me.
Max Howell, of course, is on line one. And Mike, are you on? We'll be picking him up in just a few moments. Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi. And but Max, you were at the golf tournament. Did you have a good time?
Hey, did, Mike. Let me tell you, though, I got to quick tell you this story. So I leave, I get through, and you leave, and I visit with Warren a little bit more. And my buddy Jerry Young was there. He was going on to call the high school baseball state championship game in Montgomery there. So I get in the car and I start home. Well, I go, you know, I get on up through, I get out of Montgomery, I get through Prattville, I get on up to Clanton, and they stop us. And here there's a wreck on the highway.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Listen to this, Mike. I sit there for 2.5 hours.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They said the highway's going to be shut down for 6 hours. They turned me around and sent me back to Prattville, sent me up 82 to Tuscaloosa.
That's right, yeah.
And then I got home at 9:30 that night.
Oh, gosh. Well, I know this. I've gone up that 82. I usually go 82 because of that one reason. There's always a stoppage period, ladies and gentlemen, from the last week till now and till the next week. It's about the only free time a football player gets in the whole year. Isn't that right?
Yeah, very true. In fact, what'll happen, Mike? They usually, they'll put them back in the weight program when summer starts, summer school, and I guess summer school will probably start at June, about mid-June, somewhere like that.
Yeah, well, in fact, it might even start sooner than that. Sometimes.
It may, that's right.
Yeah.
Usually, most schools have 2 sessions.
I tell you, the big difference in them, they graduated 1,000 people last Friday.
That's amazing. Hey, we didn't hardly have 1,000 on campus, Mike.
Oh, I know it. But now, I tell you, a sad part of some of this, Max, is the coach meets head-to-head with every player in most cases, and concerning their scholarships, grade-wise and everything.
It's a one-year deal.
And he can sit there and say, hey, man, you're not doing the job, or we're going to have to look at somebody else. I mean, it can be a tough time for a head coach because we got to go down to 82 or 84. 84.
85. You can have 85 on
scholarship. And they don't give away these dinky scholarships anymore. It's a full scholarship. If you're not on full, you're not on scholarship. Isn't that right?
Right. In Division I, there are no partials. It's all, it's all that. Then you got to deal with medical red shirts, and there's all kind of other, entities that come in play. But you can have 85 full was on scholarship at one time.
Exactly.
And let me tell you what's beyond that. Only 20 walkovers. Used to you could have 100. Now you're restricted to 20 walk-ons.
That is different. That is definitely different. Now let me ask you this. This is something I want to ask you. You've got to graduate from junior college if you sign a junior college player as a Division I A program. That kid.
Hold came out of high school. If you're a 3.0 and made 22 on the ACT, and you decide to go to junior college, you come out first semester.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But you still have to graduate. Some of them have to graduate from junior college, don't they? Or do they?
If they didn't qualify academically, that's the only reason you have to graduate.
Well, the reason I said that, most of them didn't graduate academically, don't you think? Most of them.
That's why they're there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
The good ones are there only because of academics.
Yeah.
And they do have to stay 2 years and graduate.
Yeah.
And they got to graduate with C average.
Yeah, what I'm saying, they have to graduate. Some of those smaller schools, like a Livingston or somebody like that, can get a kid without him graduating, can't he?
Yeah, they can come in. I don't know whether the rule has changed. NAIA, I know you can still do that.
Yeah.
NCAA may have changed the rule down to Division II.
Yeah.
Where you got to graduate. They use the same academic graduation.
But let me tell you, I think
that the Division I uses.
Max, I think the greatest thing, though, that has been done, one of the best rule changes ever, and I think you'll agree with me, was when the NCAA said that by June the 26th, you can bring all your players in for a second semester. That means the kids, how important it is for a kid to get acclimated to college life, to college courses, and then have a summer to pretty much get ready that way. Before, you remember, you got them on August 31st. They came to town, or excuse me, on August 1st usually.
And I can tell you a better one than that. It's bringing them in January.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's huge.
Graduating high school early. They're doing that now.
Yeah, they're doing it a lot.
This year they brought 18 in January.
Alabama and Auburn both went ahead and got theirs early, didn't they? They got them on campus.
Everybody in SEC does that now.
And again,
they want them for spring training.
Yeah. The word also is maturity too, letting them mature, and a lot of these kids have never been away from home.
Absolutely right. That is absolutely.
And and another thing we take for granted, and we do take for granted. A lot of these kids are scared to death to fly an airplane. Have you ever been in a situation where a kid wouldn't get in the plane?
No, I never fortunate enough. We didn't fly too many places.
Yeah.
Louisiana to Austin Peay, and we bus most of the time.
Yeah.
In those days, but today they fly from. I'm surprised they don't fly from Auburn to Tuscaloosa.
I know, isn't that crazy? Isn't that something?
It's a whole different world.
And of course, Troy still has to. That's a big difference too. Troy still has to drive to a lot of these places. Of course,
it's a financial situation.
But again, during this time, they're able to go home and relax, and finally not have a coach hollering at them. And they, believe you me, ladies and gentlemen, they get hollered at. I don't think profanely, but they get hollered at. And it's good to get home and relax with mom and daddy for a while, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's a matter of project. But I'm going to tell you, Mike, in today's marketplace for those high-profile athletes, look, their mom and daddy expect them to get hollered at. And they expect them to be pushed.
And Max, another big thing back then, we didn't have tutors. At least I don't remember any tutors. No. And now all of them have an individual tutor, and they'll get ready to take a test, and I know they've got the whole of the old test or something similar, and they go down and say, well, that's this, and they pretty much all but go in there with them. Don't you agree?
Let me tell you what we did.
All but go in there with them.
I did it. I'm the one who took them to the professors and say, okay, tell me what you got to do to pass.
Right. And you had to rely on that professor. That kid's, your football team had to rely on the English professor or the science teacher. And Troy had the worst curriculum in the world, that what was it called? That Troy that flunked so many people out, biochemistry or something like that.
Yeah, it was in the chemistry department.
Yeah, it was biosocial. But it flunked out more people than anybody in the history.
Right. I had to make the schedule out, and I knew where all the good professors were.
That's right. And let me tell you, back then when I was there, if you didn't get lucky, you either got lucky with your professor or you didn't get lucky with your professor. You know what I mean?
You know, I'll tell you though, when Billy got there, that was one of the first things he did. He went to Dr. Adams and said, hey, we need to, they allowed us to register first. That we took all the players and all that, and then once they were to start registration at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, we got there at 8 with our whole team and got them run through early. So we had our choices so those classes wouldn't be filled, at that particular time. Those were the things that took us different, Mike, than everybody else. That we had great administrative help from Dr. Ralph Adams. And of course, then it came.
I remember there was one guy. If you bought him a big wide tie and gave it to him, you got your grade that way. You got an A. If you brought him a tie, you'd get an A. Have you ever heard of that?
We had all kind of little. Remember, Mike, we went transition from NAIA to Division II.
Exactly.
So the rules, it was almost like, all right, which set of rules we're going to play by.
Yeah.
And it made it much easier.
Well, let me tell you another thing about how crazy things were and how you treated these guys like grown men. You really did.
That's true.
And I'll tell you, back then everybody smoked. A lot of people smoked to be cute because everybody else was. It was a habit, and everybody thought it was a cool thing to do. I'd see your players walking down the sidewalks and have a cigarette in the hand. But old Billy, all he was concerned about was what kind of football player he was. He wasn't concerned that, he'd been around people all his life, smoking and dipping and whatever. If he could play football is what was important with him.
Billy came through Millport, Alabama, Auburn University. He was the first national championship team there. Remember those the top college prospects, and they played at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Chicago.
Oh, yeah, I remember that well every year, that All-Star game.
Right, and he was a starter on offense and defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was a great player.
He had a great record.
And one thing about it, though, more than anything, he was an intimidating guy. He was a rough, tough, intimidating guy.
He came from the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the way you lived your life up there.
And everybody said, well, he's got all those outlaws, those guys that used to play and couldn't play. Most of them just wanted to play, and they transferred and so forth. But they called some of them, you've heard it a million times, those outlaws or whatever. Let me tell you this. They weren't outlaws for long if they played for Billy Atkins, but they became scared to death of him.
We would start with 200 or 300 kids in January, and this is what he'd tell them. Remember, we had 47 scholarships.
Sure.
And he'd tell them the last 47 here on August 1st gets a scholarship. And that was what we did. It was a tryout.
Yeah, oh yeah.
What it was from January to August.
When y'all won the national championship, I think you dressed about 35, maybe 40 at the most. Is that right?
I think we dressed 40 for that ball game.
And of course, won the national championship, and the rest is history. I'll tell you something about them too, ladies and gentlemen. About this time every year, y'all took your players to the beach.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, they rented a hotel at the beach, and they would take the players down there for 3 or 4 days at the beach. How many football coaches in the country did that?
That's right. Well, that's the NFL stuff.
But again, you were asking for it. You probably stayed up all night long, want to know where in the heck they were.
Well, I did. That was my
Was that unreal? Where'd y'all get the money to do that?
Well, we didn't ever ask.
And then
let me just say this. Billy Atkins came to tour with a lot of people that knew him at all.
Yeah.
I mean, big time money folks.
Sure.
And it was nothing. I'm telling you, I wouldn't go into all the details, but it was nothing for Billy to have several $1,000.
He could pick up the phone, call Alec Harris. He could pick up the phone, call Robert Dunn. He could pick up the phone and call Nick Severa. He could call anybody he wanted and said, look, I'm sending some boys down to Riverside. Will you take care of them? Those boys, ladies and gentlemen, all they did on Sunday nights was go eat a steak at the restaurant downtown or our motel out here on the bypass.
The motel out there on the highway was a place.
Yeah, oh yeah, and of course he's a great guy too. What was his name? Had that?
I can't remember
had it.
Remember the food was good. Remember the dining halls closed on Sunday night.
Exactly. But all y'all had to do was go and sign. And you know, some of them signed more than once. I bet they got 2 or 3 steaks. You know?
You remember Yeager?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember him well. Yeah, from Thelma.
That guy, I tell you what, I've never seen a guy could eat as much as he did. I'm telling you this.
He was a guy that didn't stay with the program that could have and been a great one. But he was.
He was 6'1", 220.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Mike, I've seen him eat 3 whole chickens before.
Yeah, and boy, you talking about Purdy now. You know, some of these guys were what you call Purdy, no question about it.
He was.
Well, all right, now listen, everybody, you got a lot of people waiting on what's for dinner. They don't want to hear about ball. They want to know what are you going to have for dinner.
Let me tell you what I did Sunday night. A friend of mine called me around lunch, said, me and my wife are going up the river fishing up on the Tennessee Bigby, and we got a bed up there. We know where they are. And so anyway, long story short, about 5 o'clock we come rolling back in. They had about 35 pan-sized brim and crappie. And we cleaned those fish, and we deep-fried those with hush puppies and french fries and coleslaw. It was about as good as I have ever eaten in my whole life.
All right, now when you cleaning those slabs, you just cut you filleted them, didn't you?
These were just a little bit smaller than we fried the whole fish.
Yeah, I got that. I love that.
The head, gutted them.
Yeah.
We fried the whole fish, and then of course we did the sides. I told you, french fries, hush puppies, cold, fresh coleslaw.
Yeah, and I bet over the years you've learned how to make a good hush puppy. Is that right?
I guarantee you, mine are full of onions. You're going to get onion taste.
Yeah. Well, okay, now here we go, ladies and gentlemen. What was for dessert? What did you?
Well, we have fish. That's a little salty for you. So I always really do a big time sweet. I do the Mississippi mud pie.
I
Right?
know that's your favorite. Yeah.
That's 3 layers of chocolate cake, layers of chocolate syrup in between with pecans on every layer.
Oh, I love that.
Out of the oven warm and put on a scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Oh, brother, you're making me hungry. Max Howell calling in this morning, and of course, one of the renowned sports talk people in the country, ladies and gentlemen, calls our show every Wednesday, and I appreciate you very much. Always good to see you, man. And
same here, Mike. And I love today was great. You brought back memories I hadn't thought of in years. I do.
Well, I tell you what, anybody that watched those teams that y'all put on the field, and I tell you something else too. There was 9,500 to 10,000 people at every game. Y'all drew better than any small college team probably in the country.
That's true. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I mean, it was a full house. I mean, it was a fun environment with the sound of the South getting there, and it was.
Johnny Long and Billy battled each other each week to see who was going to have the best show.
Exactly right. No question. No question about it. Well, I know it's a great place to live over in Fulton, Mississippi. Just you can hear old Hank singing off in the not old Hank, but old Elvis singing off in the open air. Is that right?
You're absolutely right, but I don't discredit Hank. But I'm a huge Hank fan too, and Hank sing. You remember why I started with country music? I was at Hank Sr.'s funeral when I was 12 years old.
Were you really? Oh man.
That was the biggest. Listen to this. The biggest crowd in Montgomery since Alabama seceded from the Union in 1861.
I was talking to the guy. There's a place out here called the Tin Top. It's located in Pine Level, and 2 of their frequent guests, especially during hunting season. One of them's Hank Jr., the other one's Kid Rock. That's where they go for lunch, in between hunts.
That's too big.
Nobody messes with them. They just let them have their freedom. And, Kid Rock plays golf out at the Troy Country Club quite a bit.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and of course, no telling what kind of income we're talking about there. Well, it's been a great show, and I do appreciate it very much, Max. And
always my pleasure, and I love it, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you so much. Max Howell calling in from Fulton, Mississippi. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a big show for you tomorrow, and of course, we'll hope you'll watch our show again today at 1:30. We appreciate everybody so much. Now, remember tonight, from Veterans Memorial Stadium in Troy this afternoon, You got Columbia High School of Georgia playing Early County, Georgia, in a battle of two powerhouses in Georgia. That starts at 3 o'clock live on Troy Cable. And then remember tonight, the big one, Charles Henderson High School of Troy versus one of the top programs in Georgia in Callaway High School of Georgia. And that is a 6:30 kickoff. Yours truly, along with a few extra guys, are going to be bringing you the play-by-play of that game. And then again, Goshen, remember there, we'll try to have Coach on this show tomorrow and talk a little bit about the Goshen Eagles. They play at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon against the Geneva County of Hartford. And another big local game at 6:30 tomorrow is Slocum, the Red Sox, playing Bullitt County High School of Union Springs. Then on Friday, you got a 3 o'clock game with Florella and Isabella of Clanton. And then at 6:30, you got Wetumpka, Paul Bryant, are two big schools, 6A schools going at it. And then Saturday, the big triple header is Hewitt Trustful, Powerhouse out of Birmingham, playing Powerhouse Robert E. Lee out of Montgomery. That is a 11:30 kickoff. Then your 3 o'clock kickoff that day on Saturday is Cordova and W.S. Neal of Bruton. And then the finale, and I'm talking about these are two big-time high school programs. At 6:30 Saturday night, Colquitt County, Georgia, Powerhouse there versus Meridian High School of Meridian, Mississippi. Again, that is a 6:30 kickoff Saturday night from Veterans Stadium. All of these games will be brought to you live on Troy Cable across the nation, across the world. Troy Cable is bringing you local high school sports. See you then.